Hey y'all, so if you're here, then that means you are interested in learning some Spanish. So I'm assuming that you're a beginner, entry-level Spanish speaker, and if not, I'm gonna continue this series so that you can continue advancing your progress when it comes to learning Español. Entonces, vamos a empezar. Let's begin. So we're gonna start with the simple stuff, right? Like greetings, and I got some notes here, but like greetings and greetings. So you've probably heard the first one. It's Buenos Dias. So Buenos Dias basically means good morning. The Dias is days, and then the Buenos means good. And since you're saying, it literally translates to good days. So because days is plural, there's multiple days, you're gonna put buenos at the end of it. And because dia is masculine, even though it ends in an a, it's a masculine verb. I mean a masculine word. And in Spanish, those are things that you've probably heard before, that there's feminine and masculine words. Por ejemplo, está lápiz, un lápiz, un lápiz. So masculine, lápiz is masculine, un lápiz. Una silla, this is a chair, you can't see it, but una silla. Or la pared, the wall, la pared. Or el espejo, there's a mirror right here, el espejo. So it's gonna be, and so for day, it's un día, el día. Un means a, like a day. But if I say el día, that means the day. So the in English is, you could say the girl, the boy. But in Español, you're gonna say la niña or el niño. So there you go. So the first one is Buenos Dias, right? Then for good afternoon, you're gonna say buenas tardes. So tardes is like, it's just afternoon. You're just saying good afternoon. And the tarde, the time of the day, it's feminine. So la tarde. You have la tarde. It ends in an E, obviously. So sometimes when it's like, oh, if it ends in an E, how do I know if it's masculine or feminine? But I've come to realize that, like, as you just learn it, like as you're speaking it with people, and as you watch Spanish shows and listen to Spanish music and just become more familiar with the language, you kind of just like know. Like you don't, like, sometimes I'm trying to say something and I'll think of the word for it and I'm like, how do I know that? But the thing is, with language, you just pick stuff up. Like kids, they pick stuff up from their parents, from their environment. And when you're learning a new language, you have to be as a child, basically. Right? Cool. So you have Buenos Dias, right, for the morning. The afternoon, Buenas tardes. And then you have good night, Buenas noche. So let me pop quiz you. So do you think noche is feminine or masculine? I'll give you 3 seconds. Buenas noches. It's feminine. Exactly, you got it. Hey, turn up. Okay, so so you have buenas noches. So that's good night, and it's actually good nights. I don't know why it's plural, why it's not just like buen noche. And I don't know if people say that. It sounds kind of more like Portuguese, but okay, we're sticking to Spanish here. Bueno, and bueno means like well. So it also means like, it means good, and it's also like, okay, like, all right, let's go. Like bueno, like on to the next, kind of. Okay, so another way to say, like, to just greet people is obviously hola, right? So in Spanish, the H is not pronounced. So anytime you see an H, act like it's not even there. And then another way is to say ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal means basically like, what's up? ¿Qué means what? And then tal, I don't know what that translates to literally, but it's basically like what's going on, what's happening. And then in Costa Rica, I'm not sure if this is an everywhere kind of greeting, but in Costa Rica, I hung out with the locals a lot. I studied abroad there, guys, so that's how I know how to speak Spanish. Well, and I've been studying Spanish for like 10 plus years, just taking classes in school. Like, I've always had a passion for Spanish, but once I finally like moved to a Spanish speaking country, my my level of fluency definitely shot up. But anyway, so another way is saying ¿Cuál es la última? So ¿Cuál es la última? That means what's the latest? Like what? It's basically like what's up, but literally it's like which is the last. So it's kind of just like, I guess in English the translation would be like what's the latest? Like what's the 411? And then another way to say what's up, and make sure y'all are saying this with me, right? Like when you learn, you gotta see it. That's why I'm gonna put it on here. Sometimes it helps to write it, it helps to hear it, and it helps to say it for sure. So another way is to say ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa, Mai? ¿Qué pasa? And ¿Qué pasa? is just like what's up. And then because pasa comes from pasar, which means to happen or like to occur. So it's basically like, think of like past, like what's passing, like what's going on, like ¿Qué pasa? Like what's going on. And you could say ¿Qué pasó? Which is what happened, like in the past tense. The O with the tilde, that's in past tense. So that's like ¿Qué pasó? Like if someone seems sad and you're like ¿Qué pasó? Like what happened? Like what, like what's going on? Well, ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Like ¿Qué pasa? That's what's going on in the present tense. And then another greeting, like just, where are we at? 6 minutes? Yeah, so we're at another like basic introduction word to know is ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo means how. Estás means are you. So estás comes from estar, which means to be, in a more temporary way. So estar is like emotions, it's feelings, it's things that are fleeting, it's the weather, or actually it's not, wait, está, yeah, I think it is weather too, but it's things that are temporary, things that can change, not things that are permanent. Like I can say ¿Cómo estás? But if I'm asking how a person is, like what's their temperament, like what's their kind of personality, what's their kind of core, like how are they an honest person? A person is generally honest or not. You either have a person that like really values honesty and they're always honest, and you could say él or ella es honesto or es honesta. Do you know which one honesto goes to and honesta goes to? You guessed it. Honesto would be masculine. Masculine, and then honesta would be feminine. That just means honest. But yeah, so ¿Cómo estás? Like how are you in the moment? So you could respond by saying yo, that means I, yo estoy feliz, or yo estoy triste, or yo estoy enojada, or yo estoy emocionada, or yo estoy estoy bien, just good, yo estoy bien, or yo estoy tranquila. Oh yeah, so yeah, it goes on and on. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to describe yourself in English, just as there's a lot of ways to describe your state of being in Spanish. So that's the introduction to this to this lesson. Pretty simple, right? So pop quiz, because I saw this other woman who's teaching Yoruba lessons do a little pop quiz, or so how do you say good evening? Give you some time. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Good evening or good night is just buenas noches. Buenas noches. ¿Qué tal? Right? What's up? ¿Cuál es la última? Basically, what's up again? ¿Qué pasa? What's up? And then to respond to those, you could say like, how do you respond to these? How would I respond? ¿Qué pasa? I'll just be like, nada mucho, lo mismo, like the same, or you could just respond with like estoy bien, or todo tranquilo, or like todo bien. Todo bien is something that you'll hear a lot. Like everything's good, basically. Todo means all, and then bien is like good or well. So all is well. Like todo bien. ¿Qué pasa? Todo bien. Or ¿cómo estás? Todo bien. Like you could also say it like that. You don't have to respond with ¿cómo estás? With yo estoy. And one more thing before we go, I want to show y'all one thing, because if you have, alright, so let me just like write it. I hope it's not backwards on here, but if you have como, oops, let me go a little smaller, como estás, right? If you have como estás, estás right here comes from the word estar, which means to be. Now take note of this AR, because the AR tells you that it means to something. So in this case it's to be, and to conjugate it into the yo form, which is the I form, because this is in the to form or the you form, right? So to conjugate it into the yo form, it would just be estoy. Estoy. So you have yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, está, you know, like they, like that one person over there is, and this basically means is, right? I think y'all are catching on to that. So estoy, está. If you're with multiple people and they're asking how are all of you, you could say like estamos. Estamos. That's the nosotros form. That's the we form. And then están, the last one, just has an N at the end, and that just makes it plural, just putting the N at the end. Alright, y'all, so this was a basic intro level of Spanish lessons. I'm really passionate about teaching Spanish, so I think I'm going to continue this series, and I don't know why it took me so long, because it could be so simple, right? Like, but anyway, make sure you subscribe for more Spanish lessons if you're interested. I have travel videos of, like if you go down in my archive, I've traveled around Costa Rica, Cuba. I have like a bunch of different, like Vietnam. Did I record in Vietnam? Yes, I recorded in Vietnam. I recorded in like China when I went. So if you're interested in any of those travel vlogs before COVID happened, you know, go ahead and check that kind of stuff out. And then I have like some personal development stuff and all that good stuff like that. But anyway, I'll see y'all later. Thank you for tuning in to this video. Y buena suerte con tu español. Good luck with your Spanish.